With all of this happening, do we see the playground being leveled, or are we yet to see this coming into play?
I think, first of all, the playground has always been level for everyone to come in. The Rwanda market is very liberal when it comes to media. What has happened is the capacity of the investors, first the local investors who took the initiative to say, we want to jump into this. I think there was a need to look into the numbers. When you talk Rwanda, you're talking about 12.6 million people. Okay? Now, the number of households in Rwanda today sits at less than 3 million in this country. How many of those households can afford a television set? That's the big question.
All right.
Okay? So if you go ahead to look into the numbers, you're going to find out that about 300,000 television sets are in these households. Okay? Research by 2015 indicated that RBA, the Rwanda Television,
All right.
was taking over 50% of the viewership,
All right.
which is 150,000 viewers. The other half choosing to watch private TV and international TV like the BBC.
In the likes of the super sports.
Exactly. So 150, 300,000 viewership in the entire country. If you are an investor, would you really jump in with the expectation of there's a big something for me to jump into here where I can reap from?
Jesse, you're bringing that question to me, and it is rather worrying if you're looking at only 150,000 people viewing only the national broadcaster. When you say there is about maybe 300,000 television sets in Rwanda, that pretty much puts the other half to, say, international television, because also there was criticism just in about 5 years to date that local television channels, from not only having their own content created, the content there is lurking. Like, there is nothing really to hold me to watching television channels. Is there any sort of media development in the past 5 years that we're looking at?
I think it's no secret that Rwanda's challenge has always been capacity. And I think the government of Rwanda, they have tried to do all they can, even when you look into their skills development agenda through the Ministry of Education and other institutions that are helping to up the capacity of Rwandans. It's always been a challenge. One, where do you get the talent that has the exposure and the right skills? There are just a few individuals that are able to produce content, and those will easily be taken up. Or even then, they will be taken by the government itself to be used to promote the government's agenda, even outside of Rwanda. Privately, then, the private sector would suffer with literally no skill left at all. I think when you look at the national TV, the best talent has been taken by the national TV. The private sector will either have to go and look outside of Rwanda to get this talent, or they'll have to work somewhere else and educate and promote their own to up the skill for them to be able to produce the content that a Rwandan would want to watch.
Wow. Jesse, is the case with the cake being not big enough being addressed? Because if you're talking about 50% being taken by the Rwandan Television, right? And then you're looking at the other half split between other local players and international televisions. Right now, if I was a salesperson, where would I go? Obviously, the national broadcaster. So how is the private sector playing along with this? Are they making enough? Are they even, for one, breaking even?
I think where we have found ourselves is in a position to say you have to promote what the government is trying to promote. So you eat part of the government expenditure on communication. So the private...
But that's what the national broadcaster is doing.
That's what the national broadcaster does. When you're a private broadcaster, there's because you're looking at 150 to share amongst the private televisions. So you could be looking at your personal audience, individual as an institution, a private TV, is somewhere maybe into 100s who are watching you. And brands are not going to come and look for 100s that are watching you to place their advertising there. No, they won't. They'll look at other channels. There's radio, there's social media, There is, other platforms for where they can advertise. So TV remains with such a journey.
All right.
Of, if I say I am going not to promote what the government is working with, then I almost shut down. You remain with only shutting down, because there would not be anything at all today in Rwanda from the private sector. When I look at brands like Brarua, MTN coming on TV, there are limited numbers of viewership. You'd rather go to RBA, okay?
Let me put a pause on that right there and hold you with it. It's now that we also know from confirmed sources that the national broadcaster is yet to kick off a new television channel. They have the resources, they have the satellite, they have the infrastructure and everything. Tell me, with an urban TV station coming on the back of the success of the national broadcaster, Rwanda Television, what is left for everyone else?
I don't know why you get it to say the success of the national television.
No, it's been successful, because if you look at the likes of all the events that are covered in Rwanda, you will see 3, 4 OB events from national TV, and they're making money.
That's the mandate. The national TV should be able to inform Rwandans of whatever is happening in the country. We have right
Talk to me about the new channel,
Rwanda. Yes, I've heard about the new channel, but also depends on what is the objective of the new channel. Has the old channel sufficiently, optimally serviced us? It is an answer of yes and no.
Jesse, I don't believe that the government would be spending even more money to create another TV channel if the first one has not been of a success. So from the looks of the targets maybe that they've had, you can easily get away with saying it's done something. So
what
time
could
for
be
a
the
new
targets? I think the government should be looking at how do we improve numbers of viewership? How can we have more television sets in people's homes? 3 million homes. Why is it less than 500,000 homes with a television set? Okay? I would think the government would be looking at that.
You're not giving me an answer to my question. With the new TV channel that is yet to come on board, that is urban and full of entertainment, where the likes of TV10, TV7, Victory, Flash TV, Contact, all of this, where are they going to go? Because now you're seeing a big player birthing a new, yet to be big player.
I would have expected the government of Rwanda to be intentional and say, we need to support the private sector.
Just let's leave it right there. Thank you very much for creating time. Of course, that was Jesse Kiyingi.